Hello, welcome to Spell Day. We're covering a spell every single day of the year from the 5e PHP plus 3. Those special spells are homebrew spells. We're at plus 2 at the moment. Get it back in the playlist to find them, and today's spell is Unseen Servant. First level Conjuration, Ritual, casting time of 1 action, range of 60 feet, components verbal somatic material, a piece of string, and a bit of wood. Duration, 1 hour. The spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless force that performs simple tasks at your command until the spell ends. The servant springs into existence in an unoccupied space on the ground within range. It has AC 10, 1 hit point, and a strength of 2, and it can't attack. If it drops to 0 hit points, the spell ends. Once on each of your turns, as a bonus action, you can mentally command the servant to move up to 15 feet and interact with an object. The servant can perform simple tasks that a human servant could do, such as fetching things, cleaning, mending, folding chairs, lighting fires, serving food, and pouring wine. Once you give the command, the servant performs the task to the best of its ability until it completes the task, then waits for your next command. If you command the servant to perform a task that would move it more than 60 feet away from you, the spell ends. Well, does what the name says. As in, yeah, it's a minor servant, and even compares it to a minor, human servant or butler. Because it can't do much else other than that. It's an alternative to Mage Hand is the way I usually see it being used. Or triggering traps, because it is technically something taking that space. The one thing to bring up, or a question I have, is can it fly? And also, what is its skill? So it can do basic things, it even mentions pouring wine. Can it cook food? It's limited to that. Perform tasks like cleaning, to an efficient degree, again equivalent to a human butler, so can it perform other? What are the range of tasks? It gives examples, but what are the full complements of it? And back to the flying question, it says it can move 15 feet. It appears on the ground. It doesn't... Can it just move up? Can it move to the side? Can it move... Is it just stuck to the ground? It doesn't mention anything of it falling, or being able to hover somewhere. It doesn't give it a speed, it just says it can move 15 feet. It is also stuck to your range of 60 feet around you, of the initial casting. And all of these things, minor okay, this isn't really going to be used in combat. It has 1 hit point, AC 10, it's gonna die. But no, I've seen it used to trigger traps, either by carrying an object to the trigger it if it cannot trigger it itself, because again, does it have a physical presence? It says it appears in a space, but it also says it's formless, so can you walk through it? The full mechanical limitations and the effects of this spell are left up to the DM and table. Because at least here it's not really expanded, because it's meant to be a gimmick spell. You're summoning a servant. It's for a wizard to have different objects just seemingly floating on behind them doing chores. Whereas Mage Hand, you need to focus on the hand and then bring it to a distance and then bring it back. You know, basically just extending your reach. Unseen Servant is doing a task for you on a bonus action. And not even just a bonus action, it's just a bonus action to give said command. It'll continue doing it for the hour. Because that's all it is, really. It's a fun, flavorful, gimmicky spell, especially for, let's say, you're a wizard and you pick up 6 first-level spells upon your first level. Why not just throw one in here? So for an adventurer, it has the benefits of triggering traps, performing similar roles to Mage Hand, except its strength is 2, so it can't hold much. Then again, Mage Hand can't hold much either. Handling dangerous objects, dragging people around, cleaning things up, just minor things. Other things that you could use Mage Hand for, or familiars. So in the adventurer's hands, not the best. World building wise, though, you know the gimmick of a humanoid robotic servant around a householder in the future, I'm forgetting, the Jetsons. This is that. The fact that there's already that niche that's expecting to be filled, and also the fact that people had actual servants, and that is a role that can be taken. No one wants to do chores. I'd be willing to learn a first level spell that's a ritual, so I don't have to use a spell slot, to just 10 minutes, and then have something do my laundry for me in an hour? Yes! Because of all the various discussions we've brought up of both races that can get easy access to this, it only takes 1 level dip to get to first level spells within a spellcaster, and also there's feats that you can pick up to also get a single first level spell slot or ritual casting. This is amazing! Who wouldn't pick this up? We even brought up with Tensor's floating disk that some people could use that for some applications in general day-to-day life. Not many, but essentially a wheelbarrow that carries itself. With this, it's just a summonable servant. Mage Hand is a little more specific and better for just if you need to leverage something in a distance. Servant, you can still have it go and fetch something, but you can also have it, again, do your dishes, clean a house, laundry, cook, maybe. and whatever else. Have it walk your dog. Yes, it can only stay within 60 feet of you, but if you stay localized to whatever it needs to do, that's fine. You've already solved it, and that's 60 feet. That covers most of a regular-sized house. And again, it's not a bonus action every turn to control it like Mage Hand is. It's just the one bonus action every time it needs a new command, and it'll carry on doing that for the hour. And the fact it's a ritual. Like, yeah, an adventuring or war-focused spellcaster might not be picking this up, but I could see this being a very popular pick amongst NPCs, or just people in a fantasy setting. And depending on the access to magic, if commoners can pick it up, they're probably going to pick it up, or various figures in that. The other thing as well is like Tensor's floating disc, this does not have a numbers limit. You can summon more. You could have an entire roll of like a job or a commoner who their whole thing is that they know this one spell, they can come into your house, and every 10 minutes, they're just summoning another one, ordering it to go and do something else in the house. Summoning another one, ordering it to go and do something in the house. Who cares if it stops working? You just keep sending different unseen servants to go and finish cleaning someplace. You have an entire team of staff that you're summoning. You don't need to pay, you don't need to feed, you don't need to house, you don't need to worry about legal ramifications or if they die. Honestly, this would kill the job market. Because like one noble son, why not learn just a minor bit? Like, you could replace an entire team of servants in one royal manor by one person who knows this. A king's castle, instead of having an entire fleet of different servants, just has 5 and they keep summoning this. Like, every 10 minutes and they keep doing it, but it keeps up with the workload with only 5 people. And again, for wizards that are on campaign or just out in their own house, like, again, why wouldn't you just want to spend 10 minutes, summon this up, and you don't need to worry about that chore you just told it to do for an hour? And again, if you're busy and you need more hands than just one servant off doing something else, like the team thing, you can just summon multiple of these. World building wise, you'll see this everywhere, even more than a lot of other first level spells. I mean, unless it's healing, there's other utility first level spells. A lot of them revolve around combat or basic damage. But when it comes to, if this is practically a cantrip with how early you can access it and the fact it's ritual, this is something that will be picked up. Maybe not by everyone, but a very popular pick. 10 out of 10. Oh no, it's down here. 10 out of 10. Just, I mean, it's. I mean, I already explained it. It's a fleet of servants that you get to summon. Well, okay. Namely, the world building side of this is doing heavy lifting, but even in players' hands, it's like, it's not bad, has some utility. It's more of why not, especially since it's a first level spell, which it does affect more some classes more than others. Like Wizard, it's not a big deal, but for Sorcerer, it kind of is. Can Sorcerer pick this up? I don't know. But the whole idea of just easy to access, it's ritual, and is really, really useful. Not in the sense of completing this one very specific niche task, but because it can do all these different tasks. A familiar, yes, also a ritual. First level, you can summon and have it scout for you. Maybe, depending on what kind of familiar, be able to do things. This has a lot more capabilities than just a familiar. Sure, you can't spy with it, which the spying is probably more useful in adventurers' hands, but in day-to-day life, Unseen Servant's beating it. 100% in people learning it.